we got to wait for Twitch's ad to play, of course. We actually gained a follower over the week somehow.
One follower, yes.
Well, it builds up. I mean, it counts for something. Oh, I have to watch this football game before I can see if my stream's working. I'm sure it is, though.
Oh, yeah, we're up.
Okay. Hello and welcome to Ask the Right Questions. I'm Jim, and that over there is Race.
Sup?
He's very excited as usual for the stream. He's ready to talk about the
Always.
midterms.
Yeah. Kinda.
And what do they mean for 2020, Race? So why did you decide on this question?
Nothing good for the Democrats.
Most
Why did I
likely.
just? Well, it's a crazy week and it's on everybody's minds, so it's on our minds a lot. So I figured we'd talk about it. I'm kind of sick of politics, to be
It
honest.
is on our minds a lot.
Um,
We typically more talk philosophy than hard numbers and all that.
yeah.
But we do have our opinions on it. We don't know every senator and every House representative and every district in every state.
Well, here's the thing. Our ability to talk about art and philosophy in the future depends on what happens in politics. Unfortunately.
It's true.
Unfortunately,
It
this is the
true.
way human beings are organizing themselves. And it affects whether we can make money doing what we want to do in life. So it's relevant to our lives, everybody's lives, morality.
It's true.
Even when it's like, infuriating and frustrating and just division. We're just talking about how the country's divided, really.
We are.
Divided by ideology, what the government can and should do for people.
Um, divided by use of public toilets.
Yes. Ugh.
So as we as I did a little digging at the past, I did back to the year 2000 on the midterms just to reference how it's different than today's
Mhm.
midterms. And do you want me to start with that, or did you want to say something else?
No, we can start with that.
Well, I guess I will mention first that the Democrats were projected to gain 40 seats in the House. They only gained 27,
Hmm.
so they gained a bit more than half.
It was a blue puddle, not a blue wave.
Yeah, it was a little bit. I mean, a lot of people argue that the Republicans held their ground, which for any midterm, it's a very good thing. A lot of time it
Hmm.
doesn't happen.
Yeah.
They kept the Senate, and they are the ones who vote on the judges, which of course is the biggest thing people talk about nowadays.
I guess maybe we hyped up the red wave too much. Maybe they did better than we expected. I mean, I
Well,
don't know what most of the country's expectations were, but the
well,
the Democrats themselves, the liberals, they weren't very enthusiastic about it. They were expecting it to be really bad,
the hard
and it seemed like they seemed to do a little bit better.
the hard left the hard left people all we're talking about a blue wave. Hard right people were talking about a red wave.
But near the end, people were kind of there was anxiety and panic from the left about it, right?
Yes,
Near the end.
from both sides a bit, I guess. I mean, what both sides were trying to do is hype people up to go vote their way. It
That's
was
true.
it was propaganda. It was memes. I personally never expected this. I personally never expected a red wave or a blue wave. I really didn't.
Yeah.
This is about what I expected. They didn't gain as many House seats as I expected. We actually gained a couple more Senate seats potentially, since Florida and Arizona is still being counted than
Hmm.
than I expected. But it's very likely that they will go red.
Well, why don't we put up the map on the stream?
I can.
From
I will throw up the map. There you go. Florida, I personally think Scott um, has a decent enough lead that he's not going to lose it in Florida.
Hmm.
Arizona looks to me like McSally has a good lead. Myself, I mean, I can't imagine either one flipping too much. Florida has gotten closer because they magically find ballots for Nelson in the corner of the shop. Pick them up as if another 10,000 right there.
Right.
So that's that one. But the other thing worth mentioning is in the battleground states, any Democrat who opposed Kavanaugh got thrown out,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
the one or two that voted for Kavanaugh stayed in. That's
Wow.
something. That's something. That's interesting, isn't it?
That seems like that event had a very big impact
It
on
did. It
the
was fresh in
country.
people's minds too. It really is. That was still fresh in people's minds. That's something I want to throw in there too before I get into the history.
I mean, that's the Democrats shooting themselves in the foot really bad. I
When
mean,
you,
they made themselves look horrible.
yeah. So switching over to the House, this kind of shows you how the if the land voted, we would always be Republicans,
Hmm.
right? Go
Yeah.
around the country. Oh look, a city. Oh look, blue, another city. Another city. That's what it is,
Oh,
right? It's a
look at the
city.
invasion into Texas.
You can look at that. This one right here is actually being contested. That one's really
Wow.
close because we'll see what happens there. But it's a good account for why you need a wall. Check that out. Look at that. Need a wall. Well, New Mexico is always weird.
Hmm.
That's why they vote for Gary Johnson there.
And he's pretty much a leftist, so.
Yeah, that's a good thing for the wall. But my home state of Florida always holds out for us, doesn't it? Since back in 2000, that's decades at this point.
Hmm.
They have always been the point of contention. So going into the histories and why this really wasn't such a huge victory for the Democrats, right? Go into the
Hmm.
history of it. We'll start in 2002. This is W's first turn. Good old W. This is fresh. This is fresh after 9/11, of course. So that's a big influence on this. Keep that in mind
Yeah.
when we take a look at this. But historically, whatever party the president is from, if the president's a Republican, typically a bunch of Democrats get voted in for the midterm because people vote in one thing and get mad, then they just go the opposite.
It's going back and
Yeah,
forth,
but this is
passing the ball of
fresh.
power.
This is fresh after 9/11. The balance of power in the Senate shifted from 51-49 Democrat to 51-49 Republican. So the Republicans made gain, even though Georgie was there sitting in the White
Hmm.
House. In the House of Representatives, the Republicans gained by 8. So it really wasn't a huge shift, but because they needed to beat the drums of war,
Yeah.
people voted in the neocons.
Hmm.
Not sure if that was a term yet or not. I was too young.
No.
I was playing on my GameCube.
No, that was still when 9/11 was fresh in everybody's minds.
So they beat the drums of war and got in the Warhawks.
Yeah.
That was probably
We didn't think of them like that though. You know, like
I'm not going to pretend to know that myself for sure, but probably not. Probably not. I was too
I
busy.
mean we
I was
don't think of Bill Clinton as a war hawk, but he had plenty of
he,
stuff that he did in the Middle East. We could even say he's like
yes.
laid some of the groundwork for 9/11
It's been
in the Middle
perpetual
East.
war for a long time.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he did. He did. Looking back on it from this modern view, with the internet giving us information, we definitely can see it all through history.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to know. I was too busy playing Melee on my GameCube at the time.
I was like zero in
I didn't know. I
zero
didn't
care
know.
about politics at all.
I didn't know much. The only thing I really remember is Bush and Al Gore fighting it out of Florida.
I didn't even know we did mock elections in our class, and I didn't even know any of the issues or what we were voting for. I think I just voted for Bush because he looked friendlier. I
I know,
really,
who knows? That's the
I
point. The
really
point,
don't
the
remember.
fact you don't remember tells you everything, right? You didn't care.
Yeah,
You really didn't care.
nope.
So speeding ahead to 2006, that was still W in there. And in this one, the Senate's the Democrats gained 6, and the House Democrats gained 31. So you saw the usual flip there,
Hmm.
some of it. That's more. That's more they gained than this year. I think to 31 in the House. They only are gaining potentially 27 when they all get counted. They're going to have about
Yeah.
27. They're not going to have 31. Next, we'll jump to 2010, which is the first midterm under the reign of Barry, or
The
Barack, or Obama.
the reign of King Barry Soetoro.
The reign of Barry Soetoro, or Barack Obama. See, right here, the Republicans got +6 in the Senate. Republicans got +63 in the House. That's huge, really,
But
right?
yeah,
That is huge. They were only projecting Democrats to get 40 on this one in the House.
wow.
That is pretty huge, isn't it?
That's the Tea Party, right?
What they? Yeah, they were around then, right?
Hmm. I think
That's when
that's
they were biggest, I think. Actually, that's when they were getting big.
yeah,
This is when we first got woke.
yeah,
We were getting woke
yeah.
almost as soon as we got out of high school in 2009. We started getting woke.
Well, it's named the Tea Party because it was happening in Massachusetts,
Yes,
right? We
yeah,
were the deciding vote against Obamacare. I
we
forget
were.
that guy's name now, but they were like, "Oh yeah, this is happening in
Oh, that
Boston. It's kind
guy.
of like
Yeah,
the
what
new
was that
Tea
guy's name?
Party."
He was only there for a short time. Poor guy.
I always forget that the Tea Party was named after us, after our state, Boston, and all
Yeah.
that.
So Speed had a 2004, which is the second half of Obama's reign. It was in the Senate, Republican +9. In the House was Republican +13.
Wow.
The Senate
So
Senate
it's
one Senate
been
one's pretty big. I mean, the Senate one is pretty damn good, actually.
so
The
this has
House
been
is
a
all right.
Republicans have been slowly building up ever since Clinton.
Yes, ever since Big Willie.
Yeah, so this is okay. You want to call? What kind of name is that? Is that like from the internet? Or you just make it up.
Well, they were calling that was a sarcastic name for him even back then. Is
Oh,
Willie is Willie.
oh, okay.
Well, his name is Bill Clinton. William is another name for Bill. Bill and Will
I
are
know,
related
I know. I just,
names.
I just never heard him referred to as Big Willie.
I just like to add the word big because it's funny.
I know he was the first black president
He was officially.
because he played saxophone on Arsenio Hall, so that means he was black, and he did not have sexual relations with that woman.
It's
So
confirmed. It's confirmed.
yes, confirmed. And all those women are lying, of course.
Okay, well, whatever.
Not the
Going to
ones against
pat,
Republicans. They're
going
all telling the truth.
going to past Big Willie's escapades. So, what was he gonna say?
Oh no, go ahead.
Um, well, if you want to take a look at 1998, I guess since we're talking about good old Bill Clinton, the Republicans made very minor gains that year. This article is like
Mhm.
so short, it's shocking. I need to find it in here. I took a quick look at it earlier as well. 1998, it was a disruption too. This is the other time. So the only times that the president's party made gains was Civil War, the Great Depression, 1934, and 2002.
Hmm.
2002 is obviously because of 9/11.
Yeah.
The Great Depression, well, it's a pretty big event,
Yeah.
too. Civil War was a big event. See, it takes something shocking to rattle things.
Right.
But where's the gains? Are they listed on here? The election showed little change in 1990, so it made a slight gain. It was pretty. It held strong, is I guess the point.
Yeah.
They call it the 6-year inch trend. Apparently, is what they call it in political science. Is a pattern which takes place during the U.S. president's 6 year in office. This year is categorized by the nation's disgruntled attitude towards the president and his political party, so they vote for the opposite. But in '98, it held.
This is such a bad system.
It is a terrible system. So it shows you shows you the Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah. Well,
So this isn't looking particularly great for Democrats, though, right?
no, not at all.
The Republicans
No.
held the Senate quite strongly, as long if
Hmm.
Arizona and Florida don't get thrown out of whack, which I don't think they will.
Yeah.
I don't think they will, in my opinion. I'll be pretty surprised if they flip, if even one of them flips to blue
Hmm.
suddenly, finding 100,000 votes in the corner.
Right. So it's crazy what this does to the social environment of America, right? We talk about like the polarization, but it's kind of beyond the word polarization. It's even it feels like it's beyond the word culture war now, right? It's like it's getting physical.
Um,
It's times are getting desperate.
I don't know. I try to not get too dark on here, but we all of us have the media is really beating the drums for Civil War in a lot of ways. You saw a couple months ago quite a few articles about how they would bring on analysts about how all has the symptoms of Civil War,
Yeah.
which I don't like to say that. I mean, I certainly don't want it. I
Well, we already know like Antifa's violent and they've planned violence in the past, but now we have them going to Tucker Carlson's house saying we know where you sleep.
know
And
where you sleep,
there's
and
people on there talking about pipe bombs.
and they actually broke his front door.
Yeah, and
Somebody
his
kept
wife
slamming to
is
the front
like
door.
hiding in the closet calling the police. All
Luckily,
because he has a
luckily
political
his kids
opinion.
weren't home.
Yeah.
He wasn't home either. I swear they did it on purpose while he was doing his live show. Like
Oh, I'm sure.
as soon as his live show started, they were there.
And the name of the page was like Stop Racism or Crush Racism or
Yes,
something.
and that page wasn't banned. And Alex Jones was thrown off for talking to a senator in a sarcastic way.
Yeah. Then we have Jim Acosta. Okay, he didn't assault. He didn't. It wasn't assault. It was just a knee jerk reaction, her taking the mic or whatever. Uh, Acosta's still a prick. He's
He's
like,
rude. I don't like him. He was being really nasty. He's been nasty in the past. Very rude. He was made, but I mean, no, he didn't assault her. That's for
yeah, they
sure.
just.
He's
I'm willing to admit that they just want an excuse to get him out of there because he's always been just a loudmouth and has just unacceptable behavior. And it's at that point, it's not reporting, it's activism. So I mean, no one's gonna miss him.
no.
I was thinking maybe they should keep him around because he's so bad. He makes the media look so bad.
Yeah,
Keep him around.
I had that thought myself. I mean,
Maybe that's why Trump did keep him around, but
the
this
thing
was
is,
just too
how
far.
how if getting deplatformed off websites and getting depersoned isn't a violation of free speech, how is getting banned from asking questions at the White House a violation of free
Yeah.
speech?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very clear double standard going on there.
Hmm.
The White House is technically private property
Yeah.
of the president living in it.
Is it? Is that true?
Now it is, yeah. If you go way back, you were actually free to just go walk into that because it was totally public property. But then, of course, as society goes on, we get more mentally ill, and people started doing awful stuff. Go
Hmm.
back in the day. If you go
That's
back to
true.
when it was first built, you could just walk inside, say how, shake his hand, how you doing, sit down at his table for dinner. You just walk
That
right in
sounds
there.
great. The whole country could just walk.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, and then you have to travel there. So, I mean, you were coming there for a reason.
yeah, yeah. You have to realize people are mentally ill as society goes on, though.
What up, Calvin Coolidge? How are you cutting taxes this year? He doesn't say anything to you the whole time.
You could do that. That's how it was, though. As far as I know, it is private property because if you try and walk into the White House uninvited, you'll just be tackled and thrown out.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's kind of arbitrary, right? I mean, public and private property. It's just,
Well, you do need a press pass, so you have to be invited.
yeah,
And what is it? Is it just a given because you're big mainstream media, you should have it?
no, no.
CNN's free to send somebody else.
Hmm. So, um, you were saying this is like 2020 starting already, right? I mean, we're not even done with the midterms, and it feels like we're already in the election for 2020.
Oh, well, yeah, me and you in our private discussions, I was saying that the day after the midterms, it's going to be 2020 starting now. You're gonna be seeing. I mean, you've been seeing articles for who will run for the Democrats. You're gonna get a big time now. But
Yeah,
of course, these big Trump throughout sessions, a cost co-
that's a big deal.
that is huge. He obviously didn't want to disturb the midterms, but I think he should have thrown them out a long time ago. But I think what he was doing is he wanted to give enough time for these investigations to run their course. Now at this point, it's just total crap.
Yeah,
They haven't found anything. It's a joke. So he didn't want to cause anything in the midterm, so he held off on throwing them out. So he did it the day after, right away.
oh, maybe to make the the supposed blue wave even less so,
Yeah,
not to like,
yes,
yeah,
well, yeah, this would have really riled the boat, like you saw today. All, all, uh, all of Soros's lackeys are out there jumping up and down in the street at 5 p.m. all across the country.
yeah,
Day after, right? Totally organic,
yeah.
by the way. Just happened. These people were totally natural. You saw
How
that right
many? How?
away.
What percentage of the country is this though?
What that are out
That's
in the
what I.
streets jumping up and down.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, if you put a few hundred people in one spot, it looks like a lot of people, right?
No, but I mean the whole country in general. Like, who's the really passionate leftists and who's just the independents who are kind of
And
sick of everything?
and who's just being paid to jump up and down.
I the number I always hear is 40% of the country is independent.
That's how much is registered as independent. Are they
Okay.
truly independent? I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, Tim Pool says independent. He loves Shepard Smith.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Like, well, I'm registered as independent. I don't know. I probably am. Well, quite a bit more so than others, I guess. But
it's
we're so polarized now. It's hard to say. I mean, I don't
well,
know.
then how many people are just apathetic? Like they just don't have time to worry about it.
Tons and tons are apathetic in my personal opinion. I'm not going to claim to have statistics on that.
Probably more than half of the country.
How many people sit around all day obsessing over every news story like us? Not that many.
Probably not that many now.
How many people go out and do research? You know, it's so easy to do research in a general manner. Like I showed you that website where you could look at everybody's votes, how senators voted. You could go look at your senator, the few things they voted on at least, maybe make a choice.
Hmm.
But we already discussed all this a few weeks ago.
Well, what's his name? The guy at the Bundy Ranch. He got elected and he's dead. That
Well,
shows how much. That shows you how much. I mean, does
he's
that show
dead.
that people were ignorant about him being dead, or does that? Or did a lot of people want to troll, or what?
Well, that was in Nevada, right? That was in
Yeah.
Nevada, right? So I mean, Nevada's still fairly conservative. A lot of Californians have gone into there and destroyed the place. But you know, overall, it's still a fairly conservative place. How many people voted just because he's an R? I don't know. how many people walk in and just vote R or D because that's what they do?
Well, I want to know how many people walked in and like we're gonna vote for a dead guy. Like
Well, my favorite candidate choice there was none of these candidates. That was a great choice on the ballot. That was actually on the ballot, by the way. I can show it quick. Do they show it on Bloomberg? I'm not sure. Are they showing that one? I hope so. No, on Fox they show them all. I'll go find it on Fox. They actually
I
show
wish that I
they
wish that
show the
was
full
every
list.
I wish everyone voted that every election.
And now is it hopefully it's still showing? Yeah, it is. It's still showing. See right there. 1.6% voted none of these candidates for a senator. It's a great choice. It's a solid choice. Us being
That's
anarchists love
awesome.
that, right?
Yes, yes.
But beside that, how many? I don't know. I don't know how many people voted for him just because it's R. How many people voted for him because he's dead? For the memes.
It it either shows ignorance or frustration.
It does, yeah. I
I
don't.
think, but I think, I mean, for the percentage of people that vote, how many of them are really just ignorant and just vote for the R next to the name and the D next to the name?
Well, in high school, that's what I did. I forget if I actually voted or not, but if I did, I voted R because that's what I'm supposed to do.
We couldn't vote back then.
I was 18 in the last year of high school.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I couldn't even vote in 2008. I would have voted Obama
Yeah,
because he was a slick speaker. That's all I cared about.
and you were supposed to vote Democrat, right, too.
I didn't even know about the party Democrat. I was just like that guy seems cool.
He was a cool, suave
And
black man.
how many people vote like that? That guy seems cool.
Oh well, like I said,
He dresses
I
nice.
think I said it a few weeks ago. My grandma voted for whose wife dressed better.
That shows you have the rest of your life in order. That's a good sign.
Yeah, I know. How you dress reflects on you.
Yeah.
So how does this affect the 2020 going forward, do you think? So as Huffington Post did I save that tab? Yeah, I did. Not Huffington Post, I'm sorry, Washington Post. This is Bezos' rag of a website. Could losing the House actually help Trump in 2020? And a lot of us on the right have said this, right?
Hmm.
A lot of us on the right have been saying this. What it does, so since Dems control the House, they have the gavel, they have the courts, so they can start trying to get Trump on anything, something, whatever. Maybe he cheated on his taxes a bit back in 1986, right?
Yeah.
They just try to find anything.
Right.
So they're going to have that. And, really, this could actually stall things even further for another 2 years of just nothingness, right?
Hmm.
And Trump wants Nancy Pelosi. Do I have that tweet? I should have saved that tweet. Did I send it to you? Trump's
No,
tweet about wanting
yeah.
Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, I didn't see that. I saw the tweet about it. He was threatening to do investigations on them if they did investigations on him.
Yes, there was that part of it, but he also said, I didn't send it to you. I think I sent it to Fat Cracker. I know I sent it to him. But what Trump is saying is that
I just love the people who don't know anything about our names. They just hear, why are they talking about a random fat cracker? Go ahead.
um, well, I
Uh,
think from his name we could figure out what we're getting at there.
yeah.
So I talk too much to you people, and it makes it hard to find stuff. But what Trump is saying is that he wants Nancy Pelosi to be in, and he said he would even give a few Republican votes to get her in. Which for those who don't know, when electing the Speaker of the House, the opposing party doesn't vote. the one who doesn't have the majority, they can vote. They can. They can by law, but they typically don't because they just traditionally it's none of their business. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They just let the controlling majority in the House select the Speaker of the House and vote on that.
So he says, in all fairness, Nancy Pelosi deserves to be chosen Speaker of the House by the Democrats.
Did you find it?
Yeah, if they gave her a
I
hard
just
time,
found it
perhaps we
too.
will add some Republican votes.
I just found that, yes, to throw it up.
She has earned this great honor. Oh, that's so sarcastic and cheeky.
It is,
You
yes.
know he doesn't mean that.
So it's the same thing as when he's saying, please, please, please run Hillary Clinton, please.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, Nancy would just be his punching bag, right?
right.
For these for these years.
And
And
let's
that's
go to
what
the
he
tweet
wants.
under that.
What the Glenn
The,
Gilly?
no, the tweet, Trump's tweet below that,
Oh,
the one
you actually
before
went
it.
to his page. I was just trying to find a direct link to it. Um, and all there it is right there. So if the Democrats think they are going to waste taxpayer money investigating us at the House level, then we will likewise be forced to consider investigating them for all the leaks of classified information and much else at the Senate level. Two can play at that game.
That's
Now the question is, does he have something or is he just blowing hot air?
Oh, I'm sure he has something. It's already confirmed that we have that the Democrats are involved in all kinds of bad stuff. Um, I
Oh,
can't
it's
see how it
true.
can be hot air.
Yeah, it definitely can't be hot air.
Um,
But then,
that's definitely a war cry. That's like I would be so afraid if I was Nancy Pelosi or something seeing that tweet.
it's gonna.
Because what are you opening yourself up to if you're going to go out and
So,
attack? And if you don't
so,
attack, your base is going to be
so
furious with
think
you.
about this. A lot of them want Nancy. A lot of Democrats do. The smart ones would see that tweet and say, "Well, why does he want it? Maybe we shouldn't, elect her." But then, if somehow it turned out that Nancy did need a few Republican votes, and slid him over, I mean, she's beholden to the Republicans somewhat now, right? And the rest
Mm.
of her party might be looking at her as a traitor, right?
Ah, yes.
Pretty sticky situation if she actually did need those couple Republican votes to get in there.
And then that would compel her to make some kind of deal, some kind of
I kind of don't like setting a precedent either because if the Republicans gain back control, I mean Democrats would probably walk in and start voting, right, for a Speaker of
yeah,
the House. It sets a precedent that's now okay.
yeah.
That kind of sucks. But Nancy Pelosi is the perfect punching bag for him for a couple of years, right?
And she's also getting very old, and I mean she has signs of like Alzheimer's, not to be grim or anything, but
She's always been wacky, really.
yeah, but it seems like there's like something going on that's not good, and
In the
we don't wish it
past,
on her, obviously, but
she has reacted negatively towards the violence on the left, but now she doesn't seem to care. Like I remember something happened in San Francisco, or at least in California. Um,
mhm.
a bunch of Antifa, I guess before they were called Antifa, were getting violent in there, beating up some conservatives, and she reacted very bad towards that. She reacted very negatively towards that.
Yeah,
She doesn't like violence, or she didn't. Now she doesn't seem to care in the past couple of years.
she's got to get with the program. This is gaining power at all costs.
So,
Yeah, so I mean that's probably another reason Trump wants her is it's just there's too many people in this Congress and
towards,
they're too old. They're way too old to be doing this job.
I don't know.
Right?
I don't think age should matter too much myself.
Well, you start to lose some mental ability when you get older and I mean you
And
can't do your job as effectively as a younger person can.
and that's up to your constituents to decide,
Well,
right?
unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately, what would you
Yeah.
want, race? What would you want? Do you want a king?
Anarchy.
Well, that's just nobody then. Well, okay. That's anarchy, which I'm obviously for too. So,
But
partly maybe the reason Trump threw out Sessions so fast is because the Democrats control the House, so they have the gavel
hmm,
in hand.
maybe
So,
I don't know.
with the
There's
Senate pretty secured, I don't know. We'll see. I did hear some people say that that if Trump didn't put up somebody really in the middle for his next one, the Republicans wouldn't vote for it either. But
yeah.
why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't you want people going your way in the court, in, in the Supreme Court?
She's playing that 4D chess.
I don't. Well, it has to do with 4D chess so much. Is just why wouldn't why wouldn't the Republicans who control the Senate vote for somebody
Yeah.
far right leaning? Because they're all players in the same game, right?
Yeah. Well, oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure we still got a lot of swamp people still in the Republican Party. I mean, we still can't really trust them. We still can't trust the rhinos.
Democrat
So
Republicans players in the same game.
inauguration, touch the Bible, lie in God's name. um, yeah, I mean, I think going forward now, I don't the optics of the radical left now. It's like it's bad PR on another level, right? To gain votes.
Definitely.
And it's already escalated over the past 10 years. Um, it's escalated since 2016, but now we're not even done counting the votes of the midterms. And we got Antifa showing up to people's houses, threatening pipe bombs and families. Not even done counting the votes of the midterms. What's going to happen in the next few months, in the next 2 years of Trump's just first term? It's just his first term, right? I mean,
I mean, people. I mean, I guess I'll just say it straight out. I mean, people have died in the midterms. People have died over the midterms elections, right?
yeah.
What's
Well, what what what
what's gonna happen going to 2020?
what are you referring to exactly?
Well,
People dying.
people. Oh, I gotta find the exact news articles. But you've had your flags. You had the those letter bombs sent out. You've had Antifa rioting in the streets. Well, we'll say violence rather than just straight death, right?
Okay.
Been plenty of
Okay.
violence.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure there's someone who got in a political fight somewhere out there, and someone died. I mean,
I know I have to find it again, but I know it happened.
yeah.
I
I
know it
mean,
happened.
it's
It's pretty.
it's very hard. It's very hard to say, but someone's going to die in this whole process. At least one person's going to die in all this fighting. And it's very. I mean, politics drives us crazy.
In the
The worship
media,
of the worship of government and the worship of the state is driving us to madness.
in
That's what I'm seeing more and more.
the media beating the drums of civil war,
Oh yeah, well, and the media is, yeah. I mean, the media is just like to say they're flaming. What's the
fanning the flames.
Yeah, fanning the flames. That is an
It
understatement.
is an understatement for sure.
They are like throwing gasoline on and making the bonfire bigger and bigger until it's a forest fire, and don't seem to care about the consequences of doing that. Um, but I just like now I'm thinking the next 2 months are going to be crazy. What are the next 2 years going to be like? Like what's going to
It's
happen?
going to
It
become insanity. Absolutely.
How far is the left going to go? Like how far how much outrage fatigue can you have?
I don't.
How much outrage can you sustain throughout 4 years
I don't know. The last one was
before
certainly crazy. I
before
don't.
so many of them have to start thinking that, oh, maybe I was wrong.
Does some of it depend on who is going to be the Democrats' nominee?
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean,
Can that even fix it though? I'm not even convinced
just
that can fix it.
just the race for that, I think, is going to be absolutely insanity.
Oh, I know. I know. Yes.
If Hillary Clinton throws her hat in the ring, it's going to be unbelievable.
Oh no, we're not prepared.
We're
We're
not
not
prepared
prepared
for
for
what is
what's going to
about to get
happen to this
unleashed.
country.
Personally, in my opinion, I still think they have somebody waiting in the wings. Barry came out of nowhere.
Well, I don't know if another Barry can save them.
Maybe Duval, who we're very familiar with in our state.
No, I don't even know. Say you got something better, a better public speaker than Barry.
Oh, what? You mean for them to win?
Yeah. Say you got someone even better than Obama.
That's
Can they really win at this point?
out of the current people in the pool that they have. There isn't anybody good. There isn't any great speaker there. There's nobody really great there. You know what I mean? There really isn't. That's why I think they must have somebody waiting in the wings.
I don't care who's waiting in the wings.
You don't care.
I
You
I
don't
don't
care. The country does.
I don't care who's waiting in the wings. Can they even win at that with someone even better than Obama? Because these tactics are not going to work. These
Can they win?
tactics
Yes. I mean,
they're shooting themselves in the foot constantly.
the
Harassing
2016
tactics.
election was pretty close. I'm not going to pretend it wasn't. All it takes is flipping a state or two.
Okay, that's true, but okay, that is true. But it just seems like, and these midterms are still pretty split to a certain degree.
Yeah,
I
definitely,
mean, I guess we're
definitely.
still pretty split. It seems though that
If you go look at the percentages, I mean, a lot of them are within 5 to 10%.
it seems to me that in the next 2 years, there's going to be a huge majority of people who are going to be like, I don't care if I like socialism. These people are crazy, and I'm not going to give them power no matter what.
Yes, and they don't vote or they swing, I guess.
I mean, I just can't see the media and politicians just ignoring Antifa. Like I see more
I mean,
support for Antifa,
the
and
people
if
you're
Antifa's
talking,
going out killing people every week,
the people you're talking about are the people who are, I am a Democrat, but I don't like violence and social justice warriors.
yes,
Which I wonder how many of those there are who really care or pay attention to it.
there might be people who don't even know what they are.
They don't know what they
They
are.
just see the
Yeah.
behavior. They just see bad behavior, and they're like, I'm not for that bad behavior.
Yes.
I think that's going to win 2020 more than anything else.
Definitely, well, that's definitely true.
I
And
don't think
and
I don't think the
also
political tactics from Trump or the Democrats or the Republicans
and
are going to
and
make much of a difference.
and also how much the House embarrasses themselves for 2 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would.
They've already embarrassed themselves with Kavanaugh. Like, how do you come back from that hearing?
That was
I know,
what we saw from this midterms that in the battleground states they were all thrown out. The Democrats who
and
voted against him.
and we talked. James O'Keefe got 2 states flipped
He
with
did.
his.
He did.
I mean, what else is he gonna find? He can go to battleground states and find something, you know.
Definitely. I mean, he really swung it big time in Indiana there. I mean, it was massive how much it swung when that video came out.
Yeah, it's So I'm
Like a
confident. I'm confident Trump's going to win 2020. Do I think I'm going to vote Trump? I don't know. I really want a good libertarian to vote for, and I'd like some
being
libertarians to win.
well being in Massachusetts, I wouldn't say you're throwing your vote away. Being here for sure. If we were in a swing state, we kind of would have to vote Trump. Really, don't you
Maybe,
think?
yeah,
Really, you would
maybe, yeah,
in a certain way.
yeah,
Well, or at least we would feel more obligated to.
yeah, yeah,
But being
yeah.
in Massachusetts is like, I mean, you might as well try and get the libertarian to that 5%.
Hmm.
If it's not some crazy person like Gary Johnson, are they going to do better next time? That was embarrassing.
Right.
Did you see the nomination session they had last time? There's people with their shirt off, drunk and crap. It was embarrassing.
At the Libertarian Party?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
not
I
nominating
know.
the candidates. That was such a shit
I
show.
know. I know.
That was an embarrassment, man. I can't do that. I ain't having
Mm.
that.
Because it seems like that's just like their club, and they didn't expect the world to be watching. Like because they've. It seems like
You,
because
you
they just
know,
assume every year the party's going to get nowhere, so just have fun and.
I really wonder how many on the right were fired up for this midterm too. I saw a lot of Nazi YouTubers didn't vote.
You're saying that sarcastically, obviously.
I am. Well, I'm talking about people like Sticks, who's obviously not a Nazi. Raise your fist.
hmm yeah.
Tim Pool is a real Nazi.
Do the libertarians have any effect in 2020?
Well, like in past discussions, Trump really pulled a lot of libertarians into the Republican Party. He kind of kicked out some neocons.
Yeah.
I will say that too. I don't know. It's a really strange thing that happened. It is. It's a very strange thing that happened. They merged. You know.
A little bit, yeah.
Even Ron Paul wonders, are there any real libertarians left? All of them watch Tom Woods, as you would say.
Well, it's also how many libertarians were reactionaries from the left too, that just wanted weed legalized and
I really think that's gone with weed getting legalized in so many places.
I mean, no, but how many even like the anti-war left? How many of them were like oh yeah, the libertarians, but then when you talk to them, they don't even understand the
I
ideology.
know it's tough. Being online, we really see the extremes.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you see about the middle?
The
You,
centrists?
you don't hear from the centrists much because they're centrists. Well, I mean, it's kind of in a way they don't have an axe to grind. They're starting to get an axe to grind though, because everything's
Well,
so fringe now.
I feel like back then you would have considered centrists just Democrats, who would be willing to vote for a Republican if he had enough good social programs. I mean, we saw right when like John McCain died,
You're talking back
and how
in
many,
you're talking
and
back in the 90s and back.
yeah, well, in the 2000s too. When John McCain died, you saw how many leftists were like giving their respects almost, right? And
Yeah.
like, look at all these great things he did because people think people knew subconsciously that the parties weren't too far apart. The differences were minor.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, it's true.
and now Trump is like
He's exposed things.
he's a bull coming into both parties. He's and it has like absorbed some of the libertarian movement that was more just people on the right
Well, I mean,
who wanted a different alternative to
he
Romney.
he was a Democrat up till the middle of Obama's reign.
Right, and I think we also, I mean, the way people talked about left and right was more of the social values, right? It wasn't the economic policies.
It wasn't, no.
So,
It definitely wasn't.
and
It's hard for us to
libertarians,
speak because it was such a short time of our life. It was even like that,
and we weren't
and
paying attention
we
that
we
closely.
were quite young. We were
Yeah.
quite young.
Um.
But now there's people who were born and grew up under Obama.
Uh-huh.
Really, I mean, from when they became self-aware, they were old enough to actually be self-aware. Obama was already president.
Right. When we were growing up, it was cool to be on the left. Now you have to wonder for Gen Z, is it just cool and rebellious to be on the right? You'd
It
hope
is,
so.
yes, it is, yeah. I mean, my nephew comes up to me making edgy jokes that he saw online.
Yeah.
Ones I won't repeat on the stream.
Oh yeah, like I'm
He
sure
sees
their
them
sense of
himself.
humor,
He sees them himself.
their sense of humor is going to be so reactionary to
Well,
be like
he
just
showed me a
pure
video.
horror.
He showed me a video just yesterday that was like super edgy. stuff. It
It's
was
gonna be
it was racial stuff too.
yeah, it's probably gonna be the edgiest humor of all time.
It is.
Next generation coming up. I
But
mean, we look back on our movies and stuff, and we're like, oh my god, could never show this today. This would
no, you can't.
cause
No, you can't. Well, you see plenty of Tumblrites talk about how racist and sexist '90s cartoons were.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's like people. It's like
At some point, what do you have left for humor? If you, I mean,
right,
humor is supposed to be ridiculous, outrageous. You're supposed, I mean, that's what it is. It's so outrageous that you're not supposed to take it seriously.
which is what I loved about 2016 and being enthusiastic about Trump because it was a lot of fun.
Yes, it
It
was
was a
fun.
lot of fun seeing those memes, seeing like just pictures of him smiling and the Democrats losing in some way.
You
Like,
and hey, well, you and me on this show, we're gonna have to become personalities. We're gonna have to become personalities for the Nazis.
um, I guess yes. Watch they like take that out of context and like they say they want to be personalities for the Nazis right here.
He's admitting that he's a Nazi.
Oh yes.
Tim Pool's a Nazi.
So this guy Jim Hill, he called me a Nazi on this stream. I'm definitely not a Nazi. Like, but this is, I mean, the left has no sense of humor and they take everything literally, so they can just use bad
Well, why
logic
do you think
against
I
you.
talk like this?
Yeah.
It's part of my humor. It's part of my my British genes to just say your humor with a straight face.
Yeah, say something completely ridiculous that the other person isn't going to find true. It's just style of
Exactly.
humor.
It's a style of humor to be that outrageous. Say it with a straight face.
But leftists live in their own world so much that if they hear anything close to
For in the future,
white
for my
supremacist
fans,
Nazi, they go, oh, he must be serious.
if we
He's
ever,
already on the right.
if
It
we ever,
confirms my suspicions.
if we ever actually get a fan base, look back at this video. That just is my humor. To say totally outrageous things with a straight face.
Too bad. Too bad. You're going to be taken seriously.
I will be too.
They're all going to take you seriously. Too bad.
You
don't get to have a sense of humor in this day and age, James.
You were actually going on a rambling session last night because of it.
Yeah, you don't get to have a sense of humor.
I don't know.
No comedy. This is serious business.
All right, so anything else on the list you want to talk about, race?
I'm just not prepared for the next 2 years of politics. I'm tired of it beyond reason right now.
So you're
It's just
tired of it.
confirming it's confirming my suspicions. Like, it's here. I knew it was coming, the craziness, but now that it's here, I'm still in shock.
Right out the gates, stuff happened.
Yeah. It seemed like this when I was watching the midterms, I did expect a bigger red wave. I expected a worse loss. So I thought this was a little bit anticlimactic, but now it's just not even over days after the biggest voting days, and we got pipe bombs at Tucker Carlson's house, and Sessions gone, and the media, the Trump and the media getting 10 times more hostile.
To put it back into context, they threatened bombs.
Okay, yes, sorry.
Well, the way you said it made it sound like they are right there.
Oh no. Take me out of context.
Well,
now.
I'm not trying to do. I don't want to be fake news.
I know.
You are fake news.
I wasn't saying you were taking. I said they're in the future. They can take.
Well, yes, they were threatening. It's still a big deal.
It is.
But so let's do our predictions at this moment on November 8th, 2 days after the midterms. November 8th of 2018. What's your prediction going out all the way out to 2020? Anything could happen in between. As usual, politics is percentages. Anything could happen.
I mean, what I hope to happen is a slow realization from left-leaning people who aren't radical left and aren't crazy. Um, that not only will the economics not work of their programs they want to implement, but the Democrats and the radical leftists that are taking it over are crazy, are violent, are radical, are um, unreasonable. You can't reason with them. It's a message of hate more than actually like good ideas. Hate against Trump, Orange Man bad always, and I can see Trump for the next 2 years just teasing and prodding that to make it look worse and worse and worse until
That's
their
why.
behavior,
That's actually
the
why the
optics,
House is good for him, being in
yeah.
control of the Democrats.
So the optics of their behavior is going to be their downfall, and we could see a lot of investigations come out of the corruption that they're involved in. It's deep, it's horrific. We already know it's deep and horrific, but I mean, we could get confirmations of things coming out, and I think that will shock the country. So I'm hoping I'm a little more hopeful than you are. You keep saying don't underestimate your enemy, don't underestimate the left or whatever, but
I think it's much healthier to not underestimate them. It causes you to be ready.
okay. But I think you can be ready while also saying they're ruining themselves right now,
Yeah, there's actually somebody in the chat race
and they can't stop.
asking a question.
Okay.
What the hell is happening in Florida? The Dems are stealing the election from Scott. He has filed a lawsuit. I actually saw that during the stream
Oh, okay.
while I was looking at the news that there's some Democrat lawyers going down to Florida,
Yikes.
and the governor of Florida is involved too now. I don't know. Um, what exactly happening? I don't know. It's breaking news.
There's
I have
always
to read
shady
up on it.
business. There's always shady business going on in elections. I always used to think they were rigged.
You know, it's always Florida too. It happened
Oh
after
yeah,
the early
that's
2000s
yeah.
between Bush and I want to say Gore. Was it Al Gore? I think it was Al Gore who was running that time.
Yeah, I mean, they're rigged in the sense that they can't do it 100%. They can't make it look like a total landslide, right? Like they still need to give over control to the people, but they can do enough to influence the results to get their way. It's just that in 2016 they did not get their way at all,
I don't,
you know.
personally, I think that that Florida will stay red either way. It will stay Republican. I believe the courts there are still Republican actually.
Okay.
I believe that. Correct me if I'm wrong. So at some point, they just have to say you have to stop doing a recount. It's been counted enough.
Yeah. Jill Stein shows up randomly. This is for democracy.
Supposed voter fraud. He has directed law enforcement towards Broward County.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's not. It's not surprising. It's not surprising. When I saw it that close, I actually figured this was going to start
Yeah.
because it's actually closer than Arizona.
They got to throw their legal temper tantrums before a loss.
He only has a 15K lead now. Yeah, I was looking at numbers earlier. It tightened up a lot. He had a much bigger lead, even yesterday. Scott did.
I also want to mention too how pointless some of these divisions are. Just in my new libertarian anarchist way of thinking, it's just how much like social division this causes really over nothing, over bad ideas, you know.
Let's
And it's
see.
kind of sad. It's kind of sad to watch people fight so much. Like you'd be better friends with somebody if they weren't if you knew you could like talk to them about politics civilly, but you know you can't, and you might be closer to them if this like division didn't exist. So
Well,
the
there's an
worship of the
update.
state is like, oh, go ahead.
There's an update from Rubio on Twitter.
No.
Long but important threat on elections in Florida. Bay County was hit by a Category 4 hurricane just 4 weeks ago, yet managed to count votes and submit timely results. Yet over 41 hours after polls closed, Broward County office is still counting votes. Yes, I did remember. I did remember somebody mentioning that about the hurricane and how it would affect the voting.
Hmm.
It made it hard to drive out and all that. Still had problems down there.
We need to do a whole show about how we need a new system.
Yes, we do. I don't know. In my personal opinion, I think it will stay with the Republicans. That's my personal
In
feelings.
2020?
No, well, this Florida's
Oh,
voting
oh,
right
yeah, yeah,
now. Uh, it's just that's my personal feelings. I think it's going to stay with the Republicans. He had a sizable lead a day ago. I don't know. They found thousands of votes in the corner for his opponent.
yeah. Um, I guess too, when you think about O'Keefe's videos flipping whole states and the Kavanaugh thing flipping states, you can imagine the stuff that they're going to try to pull in the House, probably flipping more. You can imagine what
Definitely
O'Keefe
can.
is
I'm
would gear up to do in 2 years.
I'm not
So,
so worried about 2020. As of right now, I think Trump could definitely have it, especially with the House being his punching bag for a couple years.
mhm.
But I'm more worried about 2024. Whoever
Yeah,
comes whoever comes after Trump is going to be really scary because it's time for the usual flip to flip the other way again.
well, well,
This is this
that's when the libertarians either show up and say this flip flopping is dumb. This decade long flip flopping is not working for America,
I am
right? So we gotta fix the Libertarian Party before
I'm basing my guesses off historical off
off what?
I'm basing my opinions off history, my predictions, and how it always flips and stuff. How people always flip to the other party every 8 years.
Yeah, but what's the quote I heard? History doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme, right?
It doesn't have to repeat, but it has to have a big event happen. It has to have an event happen.
Yeah, and
Like Bush Senior came after Reagan for that one term.
can you imagine the temper tantrums they're gonna throw when if Trump wins again? Oh my God. What is can the brain handle that? Can the brain handle I got
Well,
4 more
like
years with this
saying
guy as my
there's
president?
Trump derangement syndrome now. That whole thing. There's an article about how there's evidence that the Democrats actually got PTSD after Trump's election in 2016. They show
I know.
evidence of symptoms of it.
I know. Can the brain handle that? And can also the brain even handle, oh, I was wrong. Like I was deadly wrong. I don't think the brain can handle that either. So we're in for a ride. That's all
Gonna
that's
be
all
a
I
big
know.
ride.
Yeah. It's gonna be a roller coaster for sure.
All right. You have any last words to say?
Just if you're listening, don't let this cause division with your friends and family. There's more
Well,
important things in life than politics,
I
and
I
we got to
I
start
don't know.
uniting instead of dividing.
If it's happened, it's already happened. It's,
That's true, but this is like
it happened
this
back in 2016.
everyone knows in the back of their head that this craziness is not worth it. This hate is not worth it. So I just hope we're not like a completely broken country by the next election.
I mean, it's hard to. I don't know. It is very. It's the most. It's the very laws and rights that control your life. It's hard to say that there's even more important things than it. I mean, the one thing that is above it is probably religion.
Okay, good point. I mean,
I mean, it controls your life. I mean, can you really say people wanting to establish communism for you isn't important?
I guess that's true. Yeah. It's just what I guess what do I mean then?
Well, I don't know.
That I wish it wasn't dividing us socially so bad
I wish
that
it wasn't. I mean, I wish it wasn't, but the reasons it is are important.
it's like the state has become the new religion and we're all fighting for power over the state.
We're all fighting
And
to control each other.
yeah, and politics is a new religion and it shouldn't be a religion. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So put put bigger ideas above the current, political landscape, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, the uh, the run up to 2020 is going to be something.
Yeah. And we're
That's
we're
for
all gonna
sure.
have to we're gonna have to like look inwards, like what is happening to us as
It's going to be a
a
show.
country.
It's going to be a show.
And we'll be there to cover it all and ask the right questions
We
Thursday.
will. Thursdays at 8 p.m. EST, Eastern
Yes.
Standard Time, live from Brockton, Massachusetts.
In the dark blue state of Massachusetts, where third parties get 3% of the vote.
Well, we'll see you all next time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
Have a
you.
good week.